Hey friends, welcome back to my channel, and for those of you who are new here, my name's Amy. I'm a full-time reseller primarily on the Poshmark app, but I do dabble in other online platforms and I sell locally. Today I'll be doing a ship with me video. In these videos I go day to day and I share the different items that I'm shipping out. I talk about how much they sold for, what I paid for them, and what my profit is. So you want to be sure to watch all the way to the end because I always have interesting and unique items, and I'm sure that you can learn some new things that you can keep your eyes out for while you're out thrifting. So let's get started. The first item sold on Cherish, and it is this vintage that's making it look like it has a really big chip on it, but it doesn't. Succulent planter pot, and it has this drip glaze on it, and it is marked Moreno Ceramics, California, USA on the bottom. I had this in my death pile forever. It was actually in my garage in a box that I didn't even realize was there. And then I brought it to the shop and it took me a while to list it. Anyways, I listed it finally and it only took about a month to sell. So get your death pile listed. This sold for $80, which I think is really great. It did have a couple little chips on the rim, which I did indicate in the listing, but it still sold. I had it listed for $89, I think, and the buyer offered me $80. I had only paid $3 for this. Cherish charges a 22% seller's commission, so after that fee and my cost of goods, that made my profit $59.40. I think that's great. The buyer selected local pickup for this because she lives in a town about an hour away, but then when I messaged her, she said she wants me to ship it. So now I have to figure that out, but no big thing. I think that's a great profit still. So I'm going to move this out of the way and package it up off camera. All of the rest of the items sold on Poshmark, and I'm really excited because it was a great weekend for me. I had a lot of sales, some high dollar, some low dollar, but let's see. I think I had 10 items going out today, so that is really great. The first item that sold is this beautiful men's dress belt, and this is by Martin Dingman, which I had not heard of before, but I found it at the Goodwill, and it had the original Nordstrom tag on it, and it's brand new, and it says made by hand in America, alligator grain, Italian calfskin. So I looked this brand up and saw that it retails for a higher amount. Goodwill did have it priced at $10, but I went ahead and bought it anyways because I can't remember for sure, but I think the retail was like $69 or $89, or maybe more than that. I can't remember for sure. I think I listed it for $69, and the buyer came in and made me a couple lower offers, and then we settled on $50. I might have been able to hold out and get a little bit more for this, but I am eager to make sales. This had only been listed for a couple of weeks, and I thought that even after Posh fees and my cost of goods, making my profit $30, I thought that was a great profit for a quick flip. And I have a lot of belts, and as I've said before, I like to turn and burn my belts. I just realized that I didn't make up any of my boxes to put stuff in. So I think I'm actually going to pause the video and do that, and I'll be right back. Okay, sorry about that. I got all my boxes made up. It's just easier when I have the box ready and I can just put it in there instead of putting it on the ground. So the next item that sold is another belt. This is black woven leather. I believe it's vintage, probably from the 2000s. It is marked Nordstrom. This ended up selling for $23, which I'm happy with. For those of you who are new to my channel, I sell a lot of belts and I look at them like a bread and butter item, which bread and butter item means something that you can sell consistently for a, I guess for a fair or a small profit. But it doesn't have to be a high profit item. You just know that you are going to consistently sell it, and it will boost your overall sales for the week, month, year, whatever. So sometimes I will sell belts for a little bit less, or I just won't hold out for belts. If I get a decent offer and I'm going to make a decent profit, I'll just go ahead and take it and sell it. So someone offered $23 for this belt. I had only paid $3 for it. So after Posh fees and my cost of goods, that made my profit $15.40. I think, no, this was an offer. I was going to say, I think there might have been discounted shipping on this, but there wasn't. So I sold 4 belts over the weekend, which is great. The next item is another belt. It is a cream leather belt, and I believe that this is from the 70s or 80s. I always do really well with white and cream leather or faux leather belts. They tend to sell pretty quickly and regularly for me. A buyer offered me $20 for this, so I went ahead and accepted. I had only paid $1 for this at an estate sale. So after Posh fees and my cost of goods, that made my profit $15. There are certain belts that I will hold out for higher prices on, you know, if it has a designer name brand, or it's a really unique piece, or an exotic leather or something like that. But in general, I am happy to quickly sell my belts. For those of you who haven't watched my videos before, I use 2 different size boxes for my belts. I either use the small flat rate box, which is a little bit smaller, or this is the 1096L box. And you can see that it's just a little bit larger. But for the thin belts, I will use that small flat rate, and for the little bit wider belts, I will use the 1096L. For that really wide one, I'll use the box number 4, which is like a small cube box. I forgot to make one of those. Boy, it's actually Tuesday after Memorial Day weekend. So I was camping and fishing all weekend, so I'm trying to get back into work mode. Okay, the next items that sold in a bundle. And the first item is a pair of vintage Levi's silver tab loose fit shorts. Now these took a while to sell. I bought them last summer, and it's funny, I had actually just in the last 2 weeks gotten a lot of interest in these, and I got multiple lowball offers on them. I had them listed for $39, and I had one buyer come in and like offer me 6, then 7, then 8. And after the third lowball offer, I just ignore people. If it's so far off my asking price, I will counter 3 times, but after that, I'm just like, no, not gonna waste my time anymore. And then I had someone else come in and offer me 10 and 12, and I didn't take that, and then they ended up selling in this bundle. So both of these items were listed for $39. The second one is this vintage tooled leather belt by Tony Lama, I think is how you pronounce it. It was also listed for $39, and the buyer added both of these to a bundle, and I have an automatic 15% discount for bundles of 2 or more items. I don't know how much, you know, I don't often just get someone who adds 2 items to a bundle and then purchases it, but this person did. So they got 15% off their bundle. So that brought the price for the 2 items to $66.30. I think that's awesome. I am happy that these silver tab shorts sold. I don't come across these very often, so that's why I didn't just accept those lower offers. For both items, so I paid $4 for the shorts and $3 for the belt, so $7 total. So after Posh fees and my cost of goods, that made my profit $46.04. I think that's great. And I'm always happy when someone sends me a lowball offer and then the item ends up selling for more. I don't know why, that just makes me happy, and sells, you know, relatively quickly. So the next item that sold is this Kate Spade backpack. Just a cute black leather kind of mini backpack. I always like to pick up these medium mini size backpack purses when I find them, especially if they are a designer brand. They seem to be really popular right now. This one ended up selling for $60, and it was in my death pile for a little while because it was pretty dirty and it kind of had some scuffs and it just needed to be cleaned and conditioned, and I just kind of was putting it off. But I finally cleaned it and polished it up, and it looks so much better than it did before. Because it was so kind of dirty when I got it, I only paid $3 for it. So that is a pretty good return on that investment. So after Posh fees and my cost of goods, that made my profit $45. I think that's really great. And like I said, I only listed this a couple of weeks ago, so it sold pretty quickly, and I think that's a pretty great price. Kate Spade can be kind of hit or miss. Sometimes you can sell her items for, you know, really high prices over $100, and sometimes, you know, I can only get $20 or $30 for Kate Spade pieces. I think it just depends on the style and if the item looks like it may have come from an outlet. Because the outlet prices for Kate Spade are considerably cheaper than the retail prices. So the next item that sold is a pretty exciting sale. This is a vintage Coach sling backpack. And this particular style with the top handle and the shape is a very rare piece. So whenever I come across a vintage Coach bag, and if it's something that looks unusual, I will use Google Lens to try and find the actual style name. And I think it's a good idea to do that for any vintage Coach pieces, because there are collectors and people will be looking for certain styles. So you can tell that this is very distressed and worn. It also has these marks on the bottom. Personally, when I get these distressed Coach bags like this, I don't do anything to them. I'll maybe dust them off, but I don't overly clean or condition them, because some people like this look. And you can possibly get more if you want to clean and condition them. I just personally, I prefer to leave them as they are. This was a full price sale for $149, which is great. I listed it kind of on the higher end of comps just because it was such a rare style. And but I usually do, you know, price my items with room to send out offers. So when I get a full price sale, that is always very exciting. This I had picked up at a yard sale, and I was scrolling through Facebook Marketplace, and there was an ad for this yard sale, and she had this bag in the picture, plus she had some cool belts. So I dropped everything I was doing and I ran over there. It was kind of the middle of the day too when I saw it. And I was like, surely that bag won't still be there. The belts will be gone. And I got there and it was there, and she only charged me $20 for the bag. So selling it for $149 is really great. After Posh fees and my cost of goods, that made my profit $99.20. This also wasn't listed very long, maybe just over a month. So I always love a great profit and a full price sale, don't we all? Okay, the next item is another pretty great sale, and it is this Tory Burch purse. And I picked this up at the Goodwill, and I was kind of on the fence because they had it priced at $25. But I tend to do pretty good with Tory Burch. The retail price on Tory bags is going up, up, and up. She has some bags that are $800 now. And so you really want to look up any bags that you find, because you can get a decent resale value. This ended up being a desirable bag with these multiple zipper compartments, and it ended up selling for $90. I think I had it listed for $129. It also, at the Goodwill, it did not have this long strap, but whenever I am at the bins or I am at yard sales, I always keep an eye out for extra purse straps, especially at the bins, because sometimes there'll be a worn out bag there, but the long strap will still be fine. So I'll just take the long strap off, so I only have to pay for the weight of the strap. And then I get them in all colors, and I hang on to them until I need them, because it really can up the value of the bag if you have a long strap. Now, I do say in my listing, this is not the original strap. This is actually not a real leather either. And I put all of that, but I say, but it is a good match to the bag. And then I'll show, you know, like the hardware and the strap. So I thought this selling for $90 was pretty great. And I wanted to sell it relatively quickly because I paid the $25 for it. And I didn't want it to be, you know, kind of hanging out with that $25 investment. I just wanted to kind of stuff this a little bit so it doesn't get squished. So, like I said, it sold for $90 and I paid $25. So after Poshmark fees and my cost of goods, that made my profit $47. I think that's great, especially for a quicker flip. I'm going to finish packaging this up off camera because I do want to add a little bit more stuffing to it just so it doesn't lose its shape. So I think a $47 profit, even though I paid $25, sometimes it is beneficial to pay up for an item to get a higher return. The next item was another full price sale, which is great. This is a vintage bomber jacket, and it kind of has this faux fur collar. It is by Oakton Limited. I didn't buy this for the brand. I just bought it because of the style and because of the quality of the jacket. I have had good luck with brown leather bomber jackets this year. This one did not sell quickly, however, though. I think I had this listed for about 8 months, but it did sell for full price for $98. That is so exciting, especially because I had only paid $8 for this. Like I said, I've been having good luck with brown leather bomber jackets, selling in the $60 to $125 range. That has kind of slowed down now that the weather has heated up. So I guess it'll remain to be seen if they are still trendy come next fall and winter. But I am just thrilled with this sale. Like I said, $98. After Posh fees and my cost of goods, that made my profit $68.38. I'm so happy that I have some better sales today because last week was so slow, and I just had, or I felt like I had quite a few lower dollar sales. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's just so much more exciting when you have high dollar sales with big profits. Wouldn't you guys agree? Okay, the next item that sold is this Patagonia down jacket. And apparently this was a more rare style. It was a men's medium. This is a piece that I took on consignment from one of my friends. and it ended up selling for $85. I think that that's a pretty great price for this particular style. I do a 50-50 split for my consignment pieces, and the 50% is after Posh takes their fees. I personally do it that way because it does take a lot of time to list, ship, store, organize, you know, keep inventory for the items that you have on consignment. Also, I have a lot of my own inventory to list, so it really needs to be worth my while if I'm going to take consignment pieces. But if you have a hard time finding inventory, quality inventory in your area, then consignment would possibly be a good option for you. I always recommend that people have a consignment contract that clearly spells out how you do your consignment, especially if you are doing it for friends, because you just don't want there to be a misunderstanding and you want people to know exactly what to expect. So it sold for $85 after Posh fees. My earnings were $68, so that means my consignor gets $34 and I get $34. I think that is, you know, an okay profit for her. She was just wanting to kind of clear out some of the items that she had purchased for resale and hadn't got a chance to list. So, pretty great weekend. I'm pretty thrilled. If you are enjoying my videos, I would like to invite you to subscribe to my channel. It's totally free and it really helps me out. It also helps me if you give my videos a thumbs up and comment down below. All of those things tell YouTube that people are enjoying my videos, so then YouTube suggests my videos to more people, which helps me, helps my channel grow, and it encourages me. So I will be back in a couple of days to share what else I sell, so don't go anywhere. I'll see you then. Hey there, it's Friday, and boy, has it been an amazing couple of days. I'm so excited to share with you the things that I sold. So let's get started. I had a couple sales on Cherish. So the first item is this art glass decanter. And this is a beautiful purple amethyst color, and it is by Blenko, B-L-E-N-K-O. And they are glass makers, and this is probably from the 1960s. This brand can be very collectible. This ended up selling for $400. So excited. I had it for a little while, but I listed it probably 2 or 3 months ago. So a relatively quick sale for $400. I'm going to move this out of the way because I'm so afraid that I'm gonna talk with my hands and knock it over, and I don't want to do that. So I will package that up off camera. It sold for $400 plus a $15 packaging fee. So the total sales price was $415 plus the buyer paid shipping. I paid $8 for this at an estate sale. I'm so excited. At the time that I bought it, I did not know that it was by Blenko, and I just did more research on it because in general, art glass can be desirable, especially the brightly colored pieces right now are super desirable. So Cherish charges a 22% seller's fee. So after that fee and my cost of goods, that made my profit $319. So excited. I have some really great high dollar sales, some low dollar sales this week too. But every little bit counts and it all adds up. So the next item isn't nearly as exciting. It also sold on Cherish. It is just this silver plated kind of catch-all serving dish. And as you can see, it's highly tarnished and worn, but I listed it anyways. I don't pick up silver plate stuff anymore. It just typically does not sell very well unless it is a desirable name brand or a really special piece. This ended up selling for $17. I had it listed for a couple of years, and I did a sale on Cherish for the first time ever. On the holidays, you can run a certain percentage off of your whole shop, and I did 15% off, and this sold as a result of that. Also, that decanter did. However, they made a counter offer because I originally had that listed for, I think, $549. So they got my sale price of 15% off, and then they counter offered $400, which I just decided to go ahead and accept. I had paid $1 for this at an estate sale, so after Cherish's fee, that made my profit $12.26. Not anything super exciting, but for $1 investment, a $12 profit is just fine with me. So the next items sold on Poshmark, excuse me, and this is another really great high dollar sale. This is a vintage bolo tie. And as you can see, it is quite large, and it has turquoise and coral on it. This ended up selling for $300. I'm not sure, I may have been able to get more for this, but it had been listed for quite some time. And when I got that $300 offer, I just decided to go ahead and accept. This was given to me, so I did not pay anything for it, which is amazing. So after Poshmark fee and my cost of goods, that made my profit $240. I think that is wonderful. And I always love picking up, you know, Native American or Native American style jewelry. It seems to sell well for me right now. I think, you know, kind of that Western Bohemian style is really popular. And this was such a large statement piece that kind of worked for it and against it, because not everybody wants to, you know, wear a really big statement piece like this. I think I'm going to finish packaging this up off camera just so I can get it to kind of curl up just right. So did I say my profit was $240? Very excited about that. Okay, so the next few items are a little bit lower, but I have one at the end that is really high and super exciting. So I sold another one of these vintage little charms to add to your charm bracelet. Let's see, can you see that? This one is just a little bull, sterling silver, super cute. It sold for $18. It came on a charm bracelet with other Spanish inspired charms. And one of my subscribers bought quite a few of the other Spanish charms, and this one was still left. So it's funny, I got an offer for this for $15 and I accepted, and the buyer, their payment didn't go through. And then like 20 seconds later, I got another offer for $18 for it from a different buyer. So I went ahead and accepted that, and their payment did go through. So sometimes it might be a good idea to, what am I trying to say? When you get an offer, to wait a little while, because Poshmark does send out those alerts to the other likers that there has been an offer made on an item, and sometimes that prompts other buyers to buy the item outright or make an offer. I don't know, you know, sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. Wait, if I think it's a fair offer, usually I'll just go ahead and accept it so that the buyer doesn't change their mind. The next item that sold is a vintage, let's see, is that right side up? Tooled leather belt, and this has eagles on it. Isn't that cool? I had this listed for quite some time. I always like these belts that kind of have, you know, a different motif on them than just like a swirly design, but they always take longer to sell for me for some reason. This was just the belt. There was no buckle. If I find belts without a buckle that have the snap, you know, snap-on thing that you can add a buckle, I always still buy them, and they typically sell pretty well for me. This sold for $20. I had paid $3 for it, So after Posh fees and my cost of goods, that made my profit $13. I'm just fine with that. I really love buying and selling belts. They come and go quick for me, so that is great. The next item is this pair of Tory Burch espadrilles. And I don't know if you can tell on camera, but these are pretty worn with some fading. They also have some discoloration. I got excited because these were Tory Burch and I bought them, even though they're really not in that great a condition. And I paid $6 for them. They did end up selling for $25, and they were only listed a few months, so they didn't really take a terribly long time to sell. Like I said, I paid $6, so that still made my profit $14. Not going to complain about that. Because sales had been slower for me, I was accepting lots of offers, even if they were on the lower end, especially if it was something like this that wasn't really in perfect condition. It's not anything super special, you know, or unusual. And sometimes you just have to accept offers to get that momentum going in your closet. I was watching somebody sent or put a link, in my comments on YouTube about some other YouTubers who were talking about a points scoring system for your Poshmark closet. So your closet is ranked with points based on how many sales you have, how many listings you have, all these different things. And the more you sell, the more items, not necessarily dollar amount, but the more items you sell, it raises your score. And so then Poshmark will feature your closet or boost your listing placement, which in turn means more sales. So that's the reason that I was accepting. Well, I knew that there was something like that, but I didn't exactly understand it. If I can find that video, I'll link it in the description box below. I'm not affiliated with those YouTubers at all, but it was just really interesting and kind of an eye-opener. So I think it could be helpful for some of you guys. Okay. But it's just really great to watch other YouTubers because you find out more information and it can be really helpful to improving your sales. So the next item, I'm not going to take out of the package because it's already packaged up. This is a vintage, probably 70s or 80s jean jacket, but it's a pullover. And I already sold this once and it was returned to me unopened. I contacted Poshmark and I tried to contact the buyer, and Poshmark was just like, this is part of your seller protection and your funds have been released. The buyer never responded. This has been 2 or 3 months ago that I got this back, so I waited and never heard anything else from the buyer, so I just relisted it, and it ended up selling for $14. Not really great, but I had already made my money. I think it sold for $30 or $35 before. I had already made my money on the first sale. It did take a while to sell the first time. So when I got this $14 offer, I just said, sure, I'll take it because I had a $0 investment now. So after my cost of goods and Poshmark fees, that made my profit $11.05. Okay, so the next item that sold is this semi-vintage long nightgown, and this is by Adana. I didn't pick this up because of the brand. I mostly just picked it up because I thought it was a pretty piece. It was a longer length, and it was only $1 at an estate sale. I've mentioned before, sorry, just one second. Let me get this there we go. I've mentioned before that I will pick up vintage lingerie when I'm out thrifting if it is super affordable. Because it usually takes a little while to sell, and it doesn't usually sell for big dollar amounts unless it is a special piece or a good brand. So brands like Olga, I think it's Olga, can be pretty desirable, and so can certain styles. So if you find something, you do want to be sure to do a little bit of research and make sure that it's not a, you know, one of the more special or desirable pieces. But in general, I sell, you know, nightgowns, slips, and nighties in the $15 to like $40 range. This ended up selling for $20. Like I said, I had only paid $1 for it. So after Posh fees and my cost of goods, that made my profit $15. So that's pretty great for a $1 investment. Okay, so the next item that sold locally, and it is a credenza. Well, it used to be a stereo cabinet with a turntable and radio in it, but the person before me had apparently taken out the turntable and the radio, but the speakers were still intact. So I advertised it as a credenza or a TV media stand, and it sold for $725. So very excited about that. I had actually bought it at the Goodwill, and I paid $225 for it. So I did pay up a little bit for it, but I figured that I would have no problem doubling my money. And I tripled my money. So that made my profit $500 for that. There are some really amazing profits the last couple days. I'm so excited. So I will insert a clip of that stereo cabinet next so that you can see what it looked like. Like I said, today is Friday, so hopefully I have a couple more sales, and I'll be back tomorrow to share what else I sell. Oh, also, I would like to invite you to subscribe to my channel. It's totally free, and it really helps me out if you hit that subscribe button. Also, if you could give this video a thumbs up and comment down below, both those things really help me out. Okay, hope I'll be back tomorrow with some more big sales. See you then. Here is the credenza that just sold. I'm so excited to get this out of here. I have had it for a little while, and it's interesting, the buyer saw it advertised in my Cherish shop and then saw that he was in the same city as me, so he contacted me through my Facebook page. So he got a better deal on it because I didn't have to pay the commission to Cherish. He just paid with his credit card. So anyways, a really great profit, and he is going to pick it up tomorrow. So I am super, super excited with this sale. Hey there, it's the next day, Saturday, and I've got 3 more things to ship out. So all in all, this week turned out to be really amazing. The first item that sold on Cherish, and it is just a single bookend, but I really liked the Art Deco style of this, and it was only $3, so I decided to pick it up. And it ended up selling for $45 for a single bookend, which I think is pretty great. I'm going to go ahead and package that up off camera. So it sold for $45. Like I said, I paid $3. Cherish charges the 22% seller's fee. So after that fee and my cost of goods, that made my profit $33.20. I think that's pretty great for a $3 investment. And that didn't take a terribly long time to sell once I listed it. I think maybe 2 months or so. The next item that sold is a pair of Christian Dior cufflinks. And these have, what is this called? Tiger's Eye on them. And I don't think you'll be able to see it, but they are marked on the end, Christian Dior. And these ended up selling for $65. I picked them up at a St. Vincent de Paul or some other thrift store, and they did not notice that they were Christian Dior, so they just had them priced at $3. So that was a great deal. These did take a really long time to sell, but I think that's because I had them priced pretty high. I think at the highest amount, I had them listed for $129. And then I had reduced them and sent out offers. And this buyer started out by offering me like 40 or something. And we went back and forth and finally settled on 65. I I wanted to get more because they were Christian Dior, but I looked up comps, and that was in line with sold comps between $50 and $75. So I just decided to go ahead and accept that offer. Like I said, I had paid $3. So after Poshmark fees and my cost of goods, that made my profit $49. That is great for a $3 investment. The next item is this vintage men's Western Wrangler shirt, and you can tell by the tag that this is from the 60s or 70s. It's actually pretty worn and has pilling, and it's kind of thin, a little see-through. I just picked it up because I thought someone would like that worn-in look, and it was at a fill the bag sale. So let's see, sorry, I lost my train of thought. So the prices were very affordable. My average cost of goods for all the stuff I got was 15 cents because this church does a fill the bag sale for $5. So I just try and pack in as much as I can to get my cost of goods down lower. This ended up selling for $28. So that is an amazing return on a 15-cent investment. So that made my profit $20.23. As I said before, I usually give an extra donation to the church, but I count that as a charitable donation separate from my cost of goods. So, like I said, it turned out to be an amazing week. My total sales for the week was $2,413.30. Yes, I have been needing to have a sales week like this because it has been slow in my book for the last almost month. So I'm so excited. My total cost of goods was $366.15. And my total profit after fees and cost of goods was $1,698.56. Super excited. I'm so happy and thankful that this week was better than the previous weeks because I needed it, like I said. Okay, well, thank you so much for watching, and I will be back next week with another Ship With Me video. I hope to see you then.